Hi, my name is Stephen Sindoni. Thank you for tuning into the broadcast of October 2011 28th Amendment. In today's program, I will share important information that I believe will be necessary to change America. The first video I will feature is entitled Void in the Law. The video will explain how we, the American people, have been tricked into accepting the Federal Reserve banking system. And the second video I will showcase today is entitled the 28th Amendment. And in the 28th Amendment, it will provide answers for us to solve this situation. So let's get started. In this program, I will share with you information that may help you better understand the foundation for our current financial system. It is my hope that you, the viewer, will realize that you are being cheated and swindled by the men and women that you have trusted to serve our nation. Beginning in 1933, President Roosevelt called all the governors of the states to Washington, D.C., and enlisted them to participate in the scheme of the century to trick the American citizens. The governors agreed by pledging the faith and credit of the states for the debts of the United States. Then all the gold and silver coinage was removed from circulation by presidential edict and legislative fiat. The individual states could no longer function as de jure states of the United States because they could not lawfully collect taxes. They were insolvent or bankrupt. The Federal Reserve Bank could now put their plan into action. The Federal Reserve wanted every property, person, place, and thing in the entire country collateralized or hypothecated in its favor, and so the federal jurisdiction or jurisdiction of the United States was extended beyond the territories of the District of Columbia to include all of the states. And this was when the straw man, the all capital letter variation system of your name, was put in place to defraud the American people. Like any other corporation, the Federal Reserve Bank has but one purpose, and that purpose is to generate a profit for the stockholders and the board of directors of the Fed. Like any other bank, they are not going to make a loan to the United States unless the United States puts up a sufficient amount of collateral to cover the loan. But since the American government is now bankrupt, what will the American government use as collateral? The United States government would now borrow money from the Fed, putting up the American taxpayer up as collateral. The creation of the all capital letter name or straw man of a person's name made each individual a corporation and made it possible to create the deception. Though the straw man is separate of you, it made it possible that by you identifying yourself with the all capital letter spelling of your name, you have agreed to their enslavement. And once a person was induced to accept the trust benefit, the legislature had him hooked into the jurisdiction of the resulting trust, which equates with within the jurisdiction of the United States within the meaning of the 14th Amendment. The benefits offered range from Social Security benefits, student loans, subsidized or federally insured house loans, farm programs, and bank loans, to the benefit of discharging one's debt with trust money of account, example, Federal Reserve notes, instead of extinguishing or satisfying debt with lawful coinage of the Republic. And once the real flesh person actually accepted trust benefits, the law requires that the trustee of the resulting trust hold the legal title of the man's property in common with everyone else's property in trust for the benefit of all the beneficiaries, to prevent one man from unjustly enriching himself in relation to the other beneficiaries. So, since there is no money of the Republic circulating, the presumption must arise as a matter of law that everyone has donated their property to the trust state to be held for their own benefit and the benefit of all the other beneficiaries or the trust state, example California, and the new federal state. Therefore, the beneficiaries or crooks can enjoy the use of the trust money of account and reinsure everyone else's debt in a scheme of maritime limited liability. And here's the kicker. The Federal Reserve notes are money of the trust account, and the persons or beneficiaries do not and can never possess legal title to the Federal Reserve notes. They can only acquire title to the trust funds or money of the trust account. In other words, the commercial persons, you, the straw man, who are beneficiaries of the resulting trust, don't own their own money. They only have the use of it. When Federal Reserve notes or trust money is used by the commercial person or straw man, the beneficiary, to purchase goods and services, the all capital letters of a man's name or a woman's name can only acquire an equitable title because the trust is already holding the legal title. And to make matters worse, the real man or woman does not even control his or her own labor. Because if he or she, as a commercial person, is accepting benefits, then everything produced by the labors of the real man or woman automatically becomes trust property by operation of law. Otherwise, he or she is unjustly enriching themselves. So when the real man or woman sends his commercial person into commerce by the use of Federal Reserve notes, he or she enters into the trust by his person's acceptance of benefits, or even by the presumed acceptance of benefits. Real liabilities are incurred on the real man or woman because the real man or woman is presumed to have entered, to have conveyed his legal title to his property and labor to the trust to be held in common for the benefit of all, and by the new resulting relationship with his all capital letter name on his straw man that he has unknowingly acknowledged. And I pose the question, what do you call that theory of government where the government holds all the property in common for the common good and use of all? It's called communism. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy created Executive Order number 11110. By doing so, John Kennedy was able to create United States currency backed by silver. Shortly thereafter, the money was printed and circulated in denominations of $20, $10, $5, $2, and $1 bills. President Kennedy's plan was to pay off the Federal Reserve debt and eliminate the scam entirely. The American people are now being given a choice which currency to use. Less than 6 months had expired before John F. Kennedy was gunned down in Dealey Plaza, execution style. The money was then quickly taken out of circulation. Had President John Kennedy lived long enough to see his vision for the American people come to fruition, we would today all be free sovereign beings living the American dream. In closing, I would just like to say, America, you now know the hidden truth. The financial scam has been exposed. The question now should be, what are we going to do collectively to take our personal sovereignty back? In today's program, I will discuss a much-needed law to be created to begin the process of a complete overhaul of our government. The bill I am referring to would be the 28th Amendment. The bill would send a message to Congress that we, the American people, are not going to take it anymore. Of the 27 amendments to the Constitution, 7 took 1 year or less to become the law of the land, all because of public pressure. As a prime example, I would like to cite the 26th Amendment granting the right to vote for 18-year-olds that took only 3 months and 8 days to be ratified. Why? The answer is simple. The people demanded it. That was in 1971, before computers, before emails, and before cell phones. The much-needed and long-overdue bill is called the Congressional Reform Act of 2011. The bill will be comprised of the following mandates to halt the runaway spending of our hard-earned taxpayer dollars by unscrupulous politicians who are outright stealing from the American people. Congressional Reform Act of 2011, Mandate Number 1. No tenure, no pension. A congressman collects a salary while in office and receives no pay when they are out of office. Number 2. Congress, past, present, and future, participates in Social Security. All funds in the Congressional Retirement Fund move to the Social Security system immediately. All future funds flow into the Social Security system, and Congress participates with the American people. It may not be used for any other purpose. Number 3. Congress can purchase their own retirement plan just as all Americans do. Number 4. Congress will no longer vote themselves a pay raise. Congressional pay will rise by the lower of CPI or 3%. Number 5. Congress loses their current health care system and participates in the same health care system as the American people. Number 6. Congress must equally abide by the laws they impose on the American people. Number 7. All contracts with past and present congressmen are void effective January 1st, 2012. The American people did not make this contract with congressmen. Congressmen made all these contracts for themselves. Serving in Congress is an honor, not a career. The Founding Fathers envisioned citizen legislators, so ours should serve their terms, then go home and back to work. In closing, I like to say that if each person contacts a minimum of 20 people, it would only take 3 days for most people in the United States to receive the message. And by doing so, we can fix Congress. It is time that we, the American people, send a message to the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, and get him off the golf course to do his job. And in closing, I'd like to thank all of the brave and courageous citizens who have taken to the streets of America and now Washington, D.C. to voice their opinion. And now I'd like to end with our 44th President, Barack Obama, posing as Osama bin Laden. It's time we take back America. The hoax has gone far enough.
Stay. In the end, you'll still be you. One that's done all the things you set out to do. Stay. There's a cause for you to bear. Things to go through if you're going anywhere. Stay for the things you know are right. It's the truth that the truth makes them so uptight. Stay. All the things you want are real. You have you to complete, and there is no deal. And wrong, stand. There's a midget standing tall, and a giant beside him about to fall. Stand, yeah, if you can, stand, yeah, if you try. Stand, stand, yeah, stand, y'all. You're saying makes sense at all. Stand. Don't you know that you are free? Well, at least in your mind, if you want to be.